What is this pregnant woman doing at my wedding? There's no way she was invited, Charlotte said with rage. Before the crowd could tell what was going on, she threw hands at the poor woman, angrily punching and pushing her, throwing different punches at her all at once. The groom, the billionaire husband-to-be, was frozen, speechless. But the beating was not the most shocking part because the poor heavily pregnant woman raised her head up with all the bruisings and pains and said, "Go on, beat me all you want." She said with angry tears in her eyes, "But today I will expose all your secrets. I will reveal everything. This wedding ends now." The crowd went silent. Every music stopped. This is the story of a poor lady whose story changed the day she met a kind-hearted billionaire. But what seemed like a blessing soon turned into a nightmare when his gold-digging girlfriend threatens her life. It all started one Monday morning. Liam, the young billionaire CEO, was on his way to the most important meeting of his entire life. One signature today would secure billions in investments, locking down properties and businesses that had taken him years to build. Everything, his wealth, his reputation, his empire, was tied to that meeting. The morning sun was sharp, but Liam's thoughts were sharper. He drove fast, his black car slicing through the streets like a knife. Just before the highway, he stopped briefly to collect a delivery, a brown envelope of confidential documents that would decide the future of his company. He slid the papers carefully under his suit jacket for protection and stepped back toward his car. Then, a thunderous honk. Liam froze. A massive trailer roared down the narrow road, water rushing beneath its tires. There was no space to dodge. In one terrifying second, the trailer sped past, splashing a tidal wave of muddy water all over him. His perfectly pressed suit was ruined. His white shirt was soaked, dripping filth. The important documents were safe under his jacket, but his appearance was a disaster. Liam's jaw tightened. His chest burned with panic. If he showed up like this, no one would take him seriously. They would hand the deal to his rival without hesitation. Frustrated, he looked around, desperate for a solution. That's when he saw it. A small weathered kiosk at the corner of the street. Wooden walls, a rusted roof, paint peeling from years of struggle. And inside stood a young woman. Her name was Isabella. She looked up, surprised to see a man like him at her stall. She had been struggling for weeks, barely getting customers. Behind her kind smile was her own suffering. An arm that had never fully healed from sickness, leaving her in constant pain. Yet, when she saw Liam's distress, her first words were, "Don't worry, sir. I can help you." Her voice was soft, steady. Liam blinked, caught off guard. He had never been spoken to with such simple kindness. That Monday morning, covered in mud on the roadside, was the moment their worlds collided. And neither of them knew this small act of kindness would unravel secrets that could destroy lives, and stop a wedding before it ever began. Liam kept going back to Isabella's kiosk. At first, it was just for quick fixes. She cleaned his suits, pressed his shirts, always smiling with a quiet strength, but soon he found himself drawn to her kindness. Sometimes she would come to his mansion herself, carrying neatly pressed suits in a small nylon bag. Liam was used to boardrooms and billion-dollar deals. But somehow her presence in his home felt warmer than any wealth he had ever known. One evening, while delivering his clothes, Isabella finally opened up. Her mother was gravely ill. Medical bills were piling up. She hadn't told him before because of pride. Liam, moved by her honesty, took it upon himself to pay for her mother's treatments. That simple act tightened their bond, and soon they were inseparable. Late nights at the hospital turned into stolen conversations in his car. One night, as rain pattered against the windshield, Liam leaned closer. "I want to know your story, Isabella. Everything, who you really are." She lowered her gaze, her lips trembling. "I'll tell you soon." Then she kissed him. The kiss deepened and that night they made love in his car. Two worlds colliding in a way neither of them planned. Liam thought he had found a pure-hearted woman who cared for him beyond his wealth. But he didn't know she carried secrets that could burn everything he owned to the ground. Isabella thought she had found a man who would finally take care of her and her dying mother. But she didn't know this blessing would twist into the darkest curse of her life. They both thought love had finally smiled on them. But they had no idea. Someone was watching. Someone who would not allow this love to survive. Charlotte had always been in Liam's life, at least on paper. When Liam was just a boy, both families had sealed a deal. His father and Charlotte's father were close friends, business partners, and allies. To secure the future, they decided that one day their children would marry. But what Liam's father never knew was that Charlotte's father had already lost his empire years ago. His company was gone. His accounts were empty. All he had left was influence and pride. Aligning with Liam's wealthy family was not about friendship anymore. It was survival. In Liam's father's mind, the marriage would be a powerful union of two strong families. In reality, Charlotte's family needed Liam more than Liam would ever need them. That evening, inside the grand family mansion, voices rose. Liam's father slammed the table. His mother, elegant but stern, folded her arms. "You must marry Charlotte," his father barked. "It's the best bet we have right now. This partnership has held us strong for decades. Don't destroy it with childish emotions." Liam clenched his fists. His voice was calm but firm. "Father, I already have a woman I care about. I've made my choice." His mother shook her head, dismissive. "Liam, you don't understand. This isn't about your choice. It's about our legacy, our bloodline, our wealth. Marrying Charlotte keeps everything within the family." He looked between them, his parents, who had given him everything but freedom. His jaw tightened. "And what about love? What about what I want?" They exchanged glances. Cold, unmoved. His father leaned forward. "Love doesn't sustain wealth. Partnerships do." For the first time in years, Liam felt the weight of his golden cage. They didn't care about his heart. They only cared about business. And upstairs, far away from that argument, Isabella had no idea that forces bigger than her love story were already being arranged against her. The next morning, Liam found Isabella in tears. She was shaking, her face buried in her palms. "They destroyed it," she sobbed. "Destroyed what?" Liam asked, panic rising. "My kiosk," she cried. "The only thing I had. The government came with trucks and tore everything down. No warning, no mercy. Everything is gone." Liam's chest tightened. He could see the despair in her eyes. The hopelessness of losing the only lifeline she had built with her hands. He reached for her hand firmly. "Don't cry, Isabella. You're not alone anymore. From now on, you'll stay with me. You'll have a place in my house. I'll take care of you and everything else." For the first time in days, she managed a weak smile. From that day, Isabella became a quiet presence in Liam's mansion. She cooked simple meals, cleaned when she could, and tried to make herself useful. For Liam, her presence was comforting. For her, it was survival, but not everyone welcomed her. One afternoon, as Isabella folded clothes in the laundry room, a sharp voice cut through the silence. "Oh, so you're the laundry girl?" Charlotte's heels clicked against the marble floor. She folded her arms, smirking. "Since you're already here, you'll wash all the clothes. You'll scrub the floors. You'll serve me like the maid you are." Isabella froze. Her hands trembled. She swallowed her tears and nodded. Day after day, Charlotte mocked her. She ordered her around, laughed at her worn-out clothes, and made sure Isabella never forgot her place. At night, Isabella would cry quietly into her pillow, careful not to let Liam hear. Weeks later, Isabella felt something strange. Weakness. Nausea, a body that didn't feel like her own. She bought a small test with the little money she had left and hid away in her room. The result, positive. Isabella sat on the floor, her hands shaking, tears streaming down her face. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. Her world spun. Liam was on the verge of marrying Charlotte. The family had already arranged everything, and now she was carrying his child. She clutched her stomach, fear flooding her chest. "If they find out, Charlotte will kill me. Liam's parents will throw me out. I can't let anyone know." So, she made a decision that would change everything. She would hide the pregnancy. But Isabella had no idea what was coming next. She thought hiding the pregnancy would keep her safe. But Charlotte had a plan, an evil plan. That morning, Charlotte stormed into the kitchen, ready to throw her usual insults. But instead, her eyes caught something on the counter. A small paper folded at the edge of the sink. She picked it up carelessly and froze. Her smirk slowly spread as she realized what it was. A pregnancy test. Isabella's pregnancy test. Positive. Pregnant. Charlotte whispered, her eyes darkening. "So that's your little secret." Her mind raced. No, she can't keep this child. If Liam ever finds out, it will ruin everything. I have to act. And I have to act now. Evil plans activated. Meanwhile, the wedding preparations were already underway. The grandest hall in the city was being decorated with gold drapes and crystal chandeliers. Liam, Charlotte, and his parents toured the venue. But instead of joy, Liam felt only exhaustion. "I don't want the usual white gown," Charlotte declared proudly, trying on yet another dress. "I want a gown with diamonds." "Real diamonds," Liam sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "But this one is already perfect. It's not expensive enough." She snapped. "And don't reduce the menu either. I don't care if we have only 100 guests. I want food for 500. I want it to be the most expensive wedding this city has ever seen." Her parents laughed softly. "Oh, that's just our Charlotte. She deserves the best." Liam nodded slowly, but inside something shifted. He was beginning to see just how spoiled she really was. Back at the mansion, Charlotte cornered him one evening with a cruel demand. "That girl, Isabella, she must leave this house. I don't care if she sleeps in the smallest room. I don't want her here anymore." Liam tried to reason with her. "But Charlotte, you don't understand. Isabella is not just a maid. When I was stranded, she was the one who helped me. No one else. Without her, I would have lost everything. She's been helping around the house, doing what you don't do. How can I just throw her out?" But Charlotte only smiled coldly because in her mind, she already knew the truth. She already knew about Isabella's pregnancy and she already knew how she would use it to destroy her. That night, after Isabella had cooked and packed food neatly in the fridge for the next day, Charlotte moved like a shadow. The mansion was quiet, the lights dim, Liam fast asleep in his room. Isabella, exhausted, was curled up in her bed. Charlotte tiptoed carefully, clutching a small bottle tightly in her palm. Inside, a dark liquid swirled. She looked around, her eyes sharp, her breath shallow. What was in that bottle? Nobody knew. The house was silent, too silent. She moved closer, her heels muffled against the tiles. Slowly, she opened the fridge, glanced back one more time, and uncapped the bottle. A few drops fell into Isabella's food. She stirred it lightly, then covered it back as though nothing had happened. With a wicked smile, she slipped away into the shadows. The next morning, Isabella woke up groggy. Her stomach was already heavy with morning sickness. Still, she forced herself up. She swept the compound, washed clothes, and pushed through the fatigue like she always did. By the time she was done, she was too weak to stand. So she sat, opened the fridge, and ate from the food she had cooked. Minutes later, something felt wrong. Her stomach churned violently. She held her side, beads of sweat forming on her forehead. "What's happening to me?" she whispered, staggering. Her hands trembled. She gripped her stomach tighter, panic rising. Is this normal morning sickness, or is it something else? Was Isabella poisoned? Did Charlotte slip an abortion pill into her food, or was it something far worse? Liam was in his office downtown when the call came. His driver burst into the building, panicked. "Sir, Isabella collapsed at home." Liam's heart dropped. Without a second thought, he grabbed his keys, stormed out, and sped through traffic like a madman. Tires screeched as he raced back to the mansion. He found Isabella barely conscious, curled on the floor, clutching her stomach. "Isabella, stay with me," Liam shouted, lifting her in his arms. He rushed her to the hospital, his chest pounding with fear. And as Charlotte watched him carry Isabella with such desperation, her eyes narrowed. For the first time, she saw the truth. Liam didn't just care for Isabella. He loved her. But instead of giving up, Charlotte's resolve grew darker. If he loves her this much, she thought bitterly, then I'll just have to destroy her completely. Liam sat in the hospital corridor, his head buried in his hands. His shirt was rumpled, his eyes red from crying, and his face pale with exhaustion. He hadn't been to work in days. He hadn't eaten. He hadn't even spoken a full sentence. Beside him, Charlotte placed a hand on his shoulder, her expression soft and full of fake concern. "Liam, you have to be strong," she whispered, leaning close as though she cared. "Isabella would want you to be fine. You'll get through this." Liam didn't even respond. Just then, the doctor stepped out. His face was grim, his eyes downcast. Liam shot to his feet instantly. "Doctor, please tell me she's okay. Please." The doctor sighed, removed his glasses, and shook his head slowly. "I'm sorry. Isabella didn't make it." The hallway fell silent. Liam staggered back, clutching his chest. No, that's not true. She was fine yesterday. She was talking. Please, let me see her. Let me just see her one last time." The doctor avoided his eyes. "I'm sorry, Mr. Liam. Her body has already been sent to her family." Charlotte knelt beside him, wrapping her arms around him tightly, pretending to cry, too. "It's okay, Liam. I'm here for you. You still have me." But inside, her heart was ice cold. That night, Liam sat alone in his mansion. He stared at Isabella's folded clothes, still stacked neatly in the corner. He remembered her laugh, her gentle voice, the way she always said, "Don't worry, I'll help you." And now she was gone. His biggest torment was how to break the news to her sick mother. How could he look that woman in the eyes and tell her that the only daughter who kept her alive was no more? Liam buried his face in his hands and wept like a child. To the world, to Charlotte, to Liam, Isabella was dead. But what they did not know was this. When Charlotte slipped the doctor millions in cash, she whispered her order coldly. "Make sure Isabella never comes out of that hospital alive." The doctor nodded then, but when he stood by Isabella's bed later that night, holding the syringe in his hand, he froze. Her face was pale, her body weak, but her spirit, he could feel it, was pure. He lowered his voice. "Isabella, listen to me. They paid me to kill you. They paid me millions to end your life tonight, but I can't. I can't do it. I see light in you, girl. I know you're a good person." Isabella's eyes widened in horror, her lips trembling. "What? Who would?" The doctor pressed a finger to his lips. "If you value your life, you must disappear. Don't go back to Liam. Don't stay in this city. Charlotte and her people are powerful. If they realize you're alive, they'll come again. Go home. Go back to your village. Hide until the time is right. He pulled the drip from her arm and whispered urgently, "Run, Isabella. Run now." And so, while Liam mourned, while Charlotte celebrated her victory in silence, Isabella slipped away into the night, vanishing like a ghost. To the world, she was gone. But in truth, her story had only just begun. As Isabella stumbled down the lonely road, her hands clutching her swollen belly and her eyes burning with tears, the weight of her world pressed harder than ever. Her mother was far away, sick and fragile, depending on her. Liam, the only man who had shown her kindness, was left behind, still blind to Charlotte's schemes. And Charlotte, dangerous and desperate, would not stop until Isabella was gone for good. Just when she thought the night could not grow darker, headlights cut across the road, blinding her trembling eyes. A sleek car slowed to a halt before her. The door creaked open and a tall stranger stepped out. His figure looming against the night